Welcome back. Today in part 3 of full full course of Python for beginners to expert. Today we are going to learn about the file handling in Python. So let's get started. Like other programming languages, Python 2 support the file handling and allow users to handle files like to write, to read and other file handling options. The concept of the file handling has stretched over various other languages, but the implementation either complex, complicated, or the lengthy. But like other concepts of Python, these concepts here is also easy and short. Short. The Python treats live file differently as a text or a binary, and this is important. So now we are going to see how the file handling will be work. So there is a one method called open. Let me write it down over here. So the open function in Python to open a file in read or write mode, right? So as we have explained above about the Python that the open method for the open method is read and write. So we'll see how it's going to be work. So before going do a practical exam, we should know how much arguments can be taken by this particular method. So the arguments are two. First is the file name, and second one is mode. So file name it's very clear what is exactly the file name, what is the mode. Now let's talk about the modes. So the Python provides how files can be open in working. So there are four modes. Let's talk about those. R for read, W for write, next one is A, which is for append, and R plus, which is for both read and write, right? So now we'll see how these things will work, and Python always assume it to be R by default. So let's take an example. Before that, so let me route a simple program. My file equal to open. This is the function I'm calling. So first argument I have to give the name of file, demo file dot txt, right? This is what I have to give the name, and the second parameter is the mode. So let me give a mode R over here, right? Now what I'm going to do, I'm writing for each in file print each. So this is what I have given. Now if you can see demo file.txt, so where it exactly it is. So it's take the default location of your ID. So in my case I am using a Mac. So in my case this would be the location is this one over here. This is my file. Let me show you the file. So this is my file, demo file.txt. Here are some value written over here. So let's do that. If I run it, it will give me the value. But in case if you want to, you want to read value from some the other location, you can give the value over here. The complete path you can provide over here, and it will open that particular file, right? So now let's take another example of a read. So in this case, what I have done, I have used for loop, right? And by using for loop, I am reading each and every the loop and the line which is present over here. But in case if I have to use a write, so what I need to do, let me copy this function and use it again over here. And this time I'm not going to use for loop. What I'm going to do, simple print file dot read. I'm calling this function over here, right? And if I say one over here, let's say run before this is going to be. So now let me, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make a change into my file. This is my file. Let me open this. Yeah. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to so this is what I have written. Let me save this first. I have saved it. Close. Let's come over here. And now if I run again the same code, you can see this is happened. Now what I'm going to do, I'll copy this one again, paste it over here, and give 2 over here, and see what is the difference. So you have seen read only 2, right? And if I say, suppose if I say 5, then it's showing me a this. So this is the another way to read a file, is to call a certain number of characters, like in the following code which we have used. The interpreter will read the first 5 characters of the store data and return it as a string, right? So in this way we can use it. Now let's see another example of write. So I'll take the same, I'll copy this file over here, let me paste it over here. So this is my file name. Now let me write something. So for that I have a method called write, but in this case what I am going to do, I am writing using a W over here, and now I have a function called write which I am going to use it. And let me so this is what I have written over here, right? Now after that I have another function which is a close. So what I am doing, I'm closing it out, right? So now let's execute it. Okay, now I have to copy this, and if I go and run it, let's see, this is the write command for write function. So what is done, it has been overridden. Now let's go over here and we see this document, open this file. So now you can see the previous values which has been written, those are override over here, and this is the new statement which we have written. It's now coming over here. But if we want to append it, for that what we are going to do, let me show you. In this case, now I'm going to use the same file, open demo file.txt, comma, I'm going to write a, because a is used for append mode. Now I have to write the file dot write. This is my function which is going to write. Now adding new line in the text file. So this is the one, and now again file dot close, because I open my file, I have to close it. So let's say executed. Now again what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this one and run it. This is the write command for write function, and you can see adding new line in the text field. So what it has been done, it's append my document, the document which is have this statement. This is the write command, and append that one by using this what we have appended. So this is the way we use the append one. So there are different way, there are uh, different ways to provide other commands which we are using in the file handling. We will discuss each and every one, right? So now using right along with the with function, so there is another function called a with function. So what it's do, so let's take the example of this. So these are some of the functions which I am showing you. So let's see. If I write with, this is my keyword, open demo file.txt. This is what I have given. Let's say I say w as f. Now if I write f dot write welcome to AT&T, this is what I have done. Now let's take, we'll run it again. Let's go to see what happened over here. Welcome to AT&T. See, this is how we can use this function. So basically, the file handling have many functions which we can use it for a different. So there's another function called as a split using the file handling. Now let's take example of a split function, how the split function will work. Let me write down over here a split function. Now in the split, so I'm using with again, with open demo file.txt, and I have to write it, so I have to read it, right? So let's say r as, I have to say file. Now I'm using a data equal to file dot read line. Now if I use for line in data, and I say word equal to line dot split and print word. So what basically I am doing, I am reading this file, I have to read it. So I am going to read all the lines of mentioned in the file, and each line by line we are going to split and displaying the words, right? So let's take an example. We run it. So unexpected indent again. So okay, here it is, the indent problem we have, right? So let's run it. Okay, word, so my mistake. So this is word. Now you can see welcome to AT&T. So what it has been done, it's splitted my line and showing me a word in this form, in the list form. So this is how we are going to use this some of the function. But now we are going to now we going to study each and every functionality given by Python in the file handling side. Let's talk about that one. So let me open the new notebook over here. Okay, so Python provides inbuilt functions for creating, writing, and reading files, right? So there are two types of files that can be handled in the Python: normal text files, which we have seen, and binary files written in binary language like zeros and ones. Okay, so we have two types of file handling. One is as a text file. Second, we have binary files. Okay, so if you talk about the text files, let's talk about the first text files. So in this type of files, each line of text is determined with a special character called EOL. EOL is what? EOL is end of line, which is the new line character. basically. The new line character which we say always slash yeah. So this is the default in the Python itself. Now talking about the binary. So in this type of files, there is no terminator for a line, and the data is stored after converting it into the machine understandable binary language. So we'll see each and every example of these things. Okay, so let's talk about the first, opening a file. So in opening a file, there are 6 modes in the Python. So what are the let me write down over here. Opening a file, 6. Let me write down. I am writing R plus. Next is W. Again, another one is W plus. Next one is A. Next one is my A plus, and the next one is, so these are the 6 one, R plus, W plus, A plus. So what exactly these are? So let's talk about each and every one. So first for the read. So this is R is for read only. Let me write down over here, read only. R plus is for read and write. W on is for write only. W plus for write and read. A is for append, and A plus is for append and read. Yeah. So this is how we are going to use it. So let's take an example. First we understand the syntax, because if you know the syntax, it will become very easy for you to understand how it's work. So object. So this is file object. Now my function open, and I have to give the file name, and my access mode. So let me not it written over here, access underscore mode, which I have to. So this is my syntax. Now how this syntax will work, let's take an example of this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a file. I say I have a file equal to open, and what I'm going to use is, I have written demo file.txt. This is what I have written. Now I say print file.read and file close. Yes. So let's run this and see. Welcome to AT&T. This is what we have done. Now suppose we want to write more data to the this file using in Python. So how we are going to do this? So let's take an example. This is my file equal to open. Let me write it down again into this demo file.txt. This is the file name. Now I have to give the mode, right? So my mode is A, as we discussed. Now I have to write. So what I'm going to do, file dot my write method. Now what I'm going to give over here, the new line character, which is, I said initially, the default one, right? So end of the line. So I'm saying writing in the file in new line. This is my text. Now I have to close the file, right? Because in normally what we do, we open file, we do some changes, modification, or read the file, and after that we close the file. The same thing, the same philosophy we are following over here. We open file, we perform our action, and we close it out. So this is what we now. Let's run this. This has been run. So I have to go and let's see, write in the file in the new line. So this is how I'm going to append my file over here. Now let's see how to read files in Python itself, right? So as we already talk about, there's a two types, the files can operate. One is a text file, another is a binary, right? And the access mode we have used. So we'll see the modes: read only, and append and read. Yeah, that means R plus, and A plus, right? So let's take an example which we already have. So let's say we talk all R we already seen, right, by using it. So we'll talk about the R plus and A plus. So let me copy this over here. Control C. Let me paste. Control V. I have to change it. I have to say R plus, and this is what I have said, right? So let's give the name of this file as a file1, file2 equal to open. And now I say I have to create another file. So let me create another file over here. So in this case, this is my file, and what I'm going to do, I am going to use it. Just a moment. Okay, let me take the same file over here. So this is my R to read this file. Now, okay, just a moment. Let me remove this code. Let me file equal to open demo file dot txt R plus, right, right. So this is file, or I would say demo file 1.txt, and I'm saving this file as at the same location or a different location, or I would say I'll store in the downloads as the demo file dot txt, demo file dot txt1. So this is, I have saved it, this file I have saved. So now I have to give the path users slash downloads slash, this is my file name, okay, and R plus. Now let's see what will happen. Okay, so it's saying unexpected. Okay, sorry, I have to give the closing over here. Let's run it. So it's, so now I'm writing into this read append save over here, right? This is what I have given. So in this case, file is a, file to, the file is going to be create an object for my file 2, and based on that I can use it and run it. Now if I see the another example of a closing a file, like we have used multiple time close method over here. So in this close method, basically it's open, when we use the open function, it open my file, okay, and when we use a close method, what it will do, it close the files and free the memory space acquired by that file. So this is the functionality of close by using it. Now when we talk about the reading from a file, this is what we use file.close for this, for your reference. Now if you talk about the reading from a file, see there are three ways to read data. One, using a method called read. Let me write it down over here. Method read. Read. Second one is read line function, and the third one is read lines, read line and read line. So we'll talk about what is a read, what is a read line, and what is a read lines. So read line, read, let me first, I'll run this one. So yeah, so we'll talk about, let me open pages. So we can write it down over here about the read and the read lines. So this is the read method, returns to read bytes in form of string, and the syntax is dot read right. And if it's no number is specified, it's read the entire file. So this is, we have, let me make the bold sign. Yeah, so in this way, this is how it's works. So we have to specify the number, or otherwise it will read the entire string itself. Now the second one is read line. What it do? Reads a line of the file and returns in form of a string for specified. And the syntax is, let me show you the syntax first. File underscore object dot read line, and we give the value of n. Now the n, the for specifying n, reads at most in bytes, n bytes, however does not read more than one line, even if n exceed the length of the line. So we'll see how it's work. So let me write down this over here. For specified n, read at most n bytes and does not reads more than one line, even if exceeds, sorry for background noise, length of the line, right. And the third one which we have is a read lines, right. So what you do? Reads all the lines and return them as each line a string, right. So let's take the, and what is the syntax? Object dot read lines, this is the object. So now let's take about the way we can read the data from a file, the various ways. Okay, so let me copy this function. So this is a program which used for read data from a different file. So you can see that by using this command, we are just creating a file, we are writing in the file itself. We'll close the file, then again we open that file, made some changes into that file. We read the file. If you can see, this is one of the another function which takes the file handle to the nth byte from the beginning. Okay, so we have given a 0, so we'll see what is going to be display as output. Okay, the read, the ninth character, the ninth from the starting, this is what we are going to see. The red line for the same, and the red lines, this is the function. So let me run over it. So you can see this is how going to be show the function. That if I see the red lines, it will give me in this way. If I See, the red line is give me a hello only. If I say the red line, it will give me hello and th. The output to red line function is hello only, and this is read and write. So this is the way we can read our data from the files itself. Now let's take in another example. Let me add one more over here, and we'll see, using a with open files, like we have seen with the open only, but now let's see, take the example with the with. Okay, so let me copy the program. So this is my program, this is the program, right? So let's run it. What it's going to be do, it's going to create a file with add with keyword and doing the same function. So let me run it. So you can see, hello, this is Delhi, this is Paris, this is London. So this is how we going to use the with the keyword. Now let's take another topic, writing to in files, which we have already, we have to already seen. Okay, now the other example we can see for appending, you know for append the files. Let's see append the file, how we can append the files basically. So appends, we have seen that either as a append only, or we can do append and read, that means a plus. So let's take an example of this for append. So this is appending. So this is my file, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to write. So what I'm doing, I'm writing it. This is Delhi, this is the way I'm writing it. Now write lines. So I'm going to write this line, this list over there, and then file close. Now I'm going to append it. So this is the append mode by using a. I'm adding is today. I'm going to close it. Now I'm going to print, read the file. So this is how I'm going to read it by using a read function, and doing a in this over. What I'm doing, I am write overwrite the write mode. So this is the tomorrow, which I'm going to print, write into my file, and then again read it. So let's see. Now you can see, this is Delhi, this is Paris, this is London, and this, and here it is append today and overwriting the tomorrow. This is how we can use append function over here, right? Let's take another example. This is same, but a little bit different. So let's say, let me run it. This is what I'm doing, the append plus read. That means what I'm doing, in the previous example I append that. Now what I'm doing, I am appending from new line and reading it. So this is how we are going to use, how we are going to use file handling in the Python itself. And if I have a file, then working on the files by using a different functions, right? Read, write, right? So this is how we are going to work on it. Now there is a one more function which is we called, for a deleting of files. So let's look into that also. So in that case we have a remove, but for that we have to use the import OS. We have to do import OS, and then OS dot remove, and we have to provide the file name. Let's say my file name is myfile.txt, and then we do that. Now let's go in our folder. My folder is this. Over here, and let's see. So here I cannot see my file list. So in this way, if I want to delete my file, I can delete it in this way. Okay. So thank you for all having this session, and if you like this video, please like, and for our channel support for and more for motivation, please follow and share our channel. Thank you very much.